me from a mental health perspective. I'm back. I finished my 2 races that I scheduled on the same day. This is a thing that commonly happens for me because, well, not as common recently because I don't have as heavy of a race schedule anymore due to injuries and motivation. But especially in my heyday of doing these races, I was notorious for scheduling things on the same day. And that was because when I would look at something that I see as an advertisement on Instagram or Facebook or wherever I would see it, I wouldn't look at my present schedule to see if I had anything on that day. I would just be like, oh, that looks cool. I'm signing up. So, true to form, I signed up for 2 things today. But the cool thing about it is the fact that one of them was at 8 o'clock and then the other one was at 9:30. So I had enough time to do both, and I did indeed complete both races, which I was happy about because at this point in time, my fitness is really low and I need a lot of work to get it to where I want to be by, I can't even really say by summer because summer is around the corner. I'm not really going to make that big of a dent that I want in that short amount of time, but I'm trying to make somewhat of a dent. So after I got back, I don't know why I have an excessive amount of energy. Usually when I come back from doing one race, I'm ready to sleep, but I did 2 races. You know what it is? It's because I did 2 races, adrenaline, all that stuff. And so when I finally sit down for real, that's probably when it's all gonna hit me at once. So right now I'm actually just running a few errands. I'm on my last one. I did some grocery shopping. I did a little bit of spring cleaning, and I did some laundry. And I think that's pretty much it for the day. 19. Wow, it has been. Thanks for the 19-month membership, Ma. Since Ma was the first one on this channel to get a membership, it's kind of like whenever I see these, I don't remember what they're called. Let's just call them milestone posts. It reminds me just how long I've been doing this. So that means 19 months, like a year, 7 months. 1 year would be May 2024. So I guess I started this page about November, probably October or November of 2023. You know what? That's not when I started the page. That's just when it got monetized. Because I was thinking about it. I'm like, I didn't start it during the Big Brother season. I started it way before. Because I did an interview with Alyssa. And that had to be March or so of that year. And that was my first interview on the channel. So that's just the benchmark of the monetization, which is unsurprising that it got monetized while Big Brother was going on. Okay. Let's see. Dumb comment and now you're deleted. Okay. I want to post mine. Appreciate that. 8 months. Wow, it's been a while that you've been on here too. I didn't even realize 8 months. Let me see. I guess you got yours around the beginning of this past Big Brother season. 5 months into this year. October, November. So sometime in like October. Oh, now I have to put gas in the car. It's just a never-ending string of errands. How are y'all days going? So I am actually going on the first business trip of my life at the end of this month. I've gone on trips for a business before. You know what? No, not as an employee of that business. So no, I have not. So this will be my first. I've gone on like day trips where they go somewhere for the day and come back that same day. So this is going to be the first time I have ever been sent somewhere where they put me up for the day and I probably accommodate my expenses within reason. I'm sure it's just like a little stipend for food or something, but it's still cool nonetheless, especially because I just got to that company. I've just been positioning myself in ways that opportunities have been arising for me. BRB, let me put the groceries away. Uneventful. My day is going fine, and yourself? It's not an out-of-state trip. It's an in-state trip, but it's 3 hour, it's 3 hours away from me, so. And it's something that starts it goes from, I think, 6 or 7 in the morning, maybe 8. Maybe it says 8 in the morning until like 2 or 3 p.m. So it was like if I tried to go that day, I would have had to leave probably like 4 o'clock. So when I saw that it was the option to go the night before, I was like, I'm going to take advantage of that. It's for a training. It's a training for a position that I am hopefully putting it in the air that I'm going to acquire that position, because the powers that be, some of the powers that be, are trying to get me into that position. Others need to be convinced. But I think that I did a good job of convincing one of them yesterday via a public speaking thing that I did on behalf of the company. So that was a good look. Yeah, that's the one. I've been making progress towards that. Because there's people who have definitely been here longer than me, but nobody has showed the same level of interest, I don't think. So I was saying on my Instagram yesterday probably, that I'm actually, the space that I'm in right now, I have so much urgency regarding things that I need. And in previous times in my life, the urgency led to a desperation. And sometimes people will say that they accomplish more things when they're desperate. Not necessarily, because this is what I have found for me. Because of the fact that I have a debilitating, at times, anxiety disorder, when I start to feel a desperation to get to a certain place right now, I don't think clearly. When I don't think clearly, I don't make good decisions. And when I don't make good decisions, I don't make good progress. It's a snowball effect. I have learned a skill of kind of being calm in the eye of the storm, which for me is basically like I feel basically like I need this thing and I need it right now. But the thing is, my desperate need is not going to make me get it any faster. So there's no point in not having what I need and being super duper stressed about it. So I've gotten into this place of just focusing in. Hi, M fam. Nice, love that. Sets you up no matter what to get the training in. Yeah, because if they give me all these opportunities to talk to the community, to travel different places, to speak, um, to do public speaking, to learn about various different programs that I'm involved in or whatever, these programs and things are not exclusive to where I am now. Meaning, the experience and the education credits that I'm getting and stuff like that can all be thrown on a resume for a different company if this company says you're not worth it. So, but the thing is, I don't necessarily know or believe that they're thinking as far ahead as I'm thinking. You know, like everything that has happened to me so far, I'm thinking 10 steps ahead. So things that are feeling kind of random for them probably are not random to me because I have mapped it out exactly how I want things to go. But I don't necessarily think the company has mapped out where they want me to go. I think they're just more like, he's an option. You know, this is not necessarily exactly the option that we want, because that's what I was told. You know, I appreciate the transparency that I've been given here by some people, because it's extremely refreshing, and I feel like only one person I can ever remember in a job setting providing me that. So in the transparent conversation I had, I was given by the person who would be in charge of that position, that would be like my supervisor in that position. You know, if it was up to me, I would throw you in there right now. But it's not up to me, so there's red tape. There's red tape to get through. And, you know, so that's why I'm like, I'm playing this thing long game. Meaning, I'm not sitting here with the expectation that they're doing these things and that a week or 2 weeks they're going to be like, we've realized your value. Companies don't care about your value. They care about the value that you bring to them. Sup, brother? How are you? I'm fine. I'm doing great. Are you from West Virginia? Absolutely not. You can use it for anywhere. Yeah, so they're just kind of like, all right, we'll give him these smaller responsibilities, and I think they're feeling like if he can prove his worth through the smaller things, then we will eventually give him a bigger role, a bigger responsibility. And honestly, it's fair. You know, like if I had been at the company for 10 years or something, and that's what they're telling me, or 5 years, or even 1 or 2 years, I'd be like, oh man, you know, they need to They need to recognize my worth. All they know about my worth at this point in time is my resume and what I've done in the two and a half months that I've been there, which I'm not saying that's nothing. I have done good work there, but I have not. 2 months of work is not enough for someone to be like, I'm going to pick you over other candidates who we know better and have been there longer. I totally get that. I love that she's making sure to cut through the red tape. Yeah, there's more that I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it. I'm not going to say it here. And by the way, BRB, referring to, talking about red tape, but said to me that they want to put me in there, and they have been having ongoing discussions about putting me in there. That person is an advocate for me because they think that I'm the perfect person for the position. They already told the powers that be that I'm the person that they want in a position. The powers that be said, why don't we look outside? Why don't we find that person outside instead of internally moving somebody or expanding somebody from here? Why don't we just find the person on the outside? Now, this is what it's so funny because I think years of trying to, at least somewhat trying things like this before. Maybe just I didn't go this hard at it, but it's not the first time that I've ever, at least made an attempt to make a shift in my company. But I think the shifts I tried to make before were just transfers. I never tried to shift my way up. This time I have specifically tried to shift myself up into a higher spot. Not just a higher pay, but like a higher spot. But I already thought about that when I started putting myself out there in a certain way. I thought of the fact that they would be like, he hasn't had enough time, and there might be certain qualifications that they want the person to have that I don't have. However, a plan was formulated to where those qualifications, there's somewhat of a workaround, because basically the main person in that department would be overseeing me through supervision and everything. So even though I would be doing certain clinical type work, even though I'd be doing certain clinical type work, I had one more thing I wanted to do. That's why I paused. But I'll do it on Monday or Sunday if I can, if it's open. The clinical supervisor would oversee the work, so I could put the work in, and then it would have to be overseen by that person and signed off. So we will see what happens. I'm patient, like I said, and I'm playing long game. And patience is not my strong suit, but right now it is, and it's such a calming thing to have somebody within an organization that is pretty much a straight shooter. Because they could have told me oh yeah, we're about to give it to you. It's right around the corner. Just keep working hard for 6 months, and then they're gonna put you there. And then next thing you know, during that 6 month period of time, that position is out on the job market, and they hire somebody, and then they tell me, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know," because I've had people do things like that before. This one was like, "I'm just telling you the truth. This is what I want." And while they didn't specifically say no, they weren't like a quick yes either. It was like, that's not our first preference. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm fine with not being the first preference, because I don't have enough time or clout. I feel like I always want to say another word aside from clout, but clout is the only one. Tenure. I mean, tenure is not the word I was looking for either, but clout, tenure, whatever. I'm just not there long enough. That's the long and short of what I'm trying to say. And then I also thought to myself, I'm actually trying to convince them to create a position. It's not that they have the position presently, and I'm trying to get into a position that already exists. It's that I saw a need that the company has, and I have experience in that area of need. So I started putting some things together and showing them, like, hey, I know that you have this need for this. I have these skills that can help with these specific needs, and here's some proof of what I could do if you put me in a position where I am. You're just gonna stop in the middle of the road? What the heck? Where I'm actually compensated for that. Yeah, I really appreciate people who are straight up, and I've had two of them in probably my whole work career in terms of management, and she's one of the two. Gotta say, one of the two rare ones. The other one, funny enough, helped me get a raise at that particular job, and helped me with the negotiations for one of my other jobs, and gave me a reference. So when you get good, I've been fortunate over the years, especially over the last 10 years or so, to, for whatever reason, I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. For whatever reason, a lot of my direct supervisors do not like me. I don't know why. Well, I do kind of know why. I think I've started to get a better understanding of it. But the administrators above them, they always like me. So I've been fortunate to have contacts to keep those contacts with those people, and I've contacted them for advice. I've contacted them for job references, and one of my previous jobs that I'm still in contact with the director at that job, that connection might be doing something right now that's going to help me with a big project that I'm working on. Having that contact really, really, really impressed my current place of employment. And it makes me look better to them. I can bring a lot to the table. Edward Simmons is on here. What's up, Edward Simmons? Good managers make all the difference. They do. Because trust me, there's people that have never, in however long I worked at whatever companies, never gotten as much production out of me as this one. Like this one, honestly, I'm not trying to sound like I switched my philosophy, but if this one's a jump, I would say how high. And not because they are management, but because if I'm like, I need something, like help me with this, I am stuck on this, they will actually roll up their sleeves and be like, all right, let's get this thing done. And like I said, I've had 2 managers that are like that in my whole work career. 2 in my entire work career. This is the second. Both of them, I mean, they were very different people, but they were similar in that aspect. They could ask me to do anything and I would do it because they don't lie to me. These are simple things. They don't lie to me. They actually offer assistance if I need it, instead of being like, well, I hired you, so that means that you have to just figure it out somehow. And the transparency. You're not going to get that in most places, but I also know the reason why I'm getting it in this place. And I'll say, when people are newer in positions, I feel like they're more honest. And I'm not saying that this is going to change for that particular individual, because I hope not. That's not what I've seen of them, and I don't think that they have. I don't foresee that really changing for that particular person, but work environments and work requirements and different things that happen behind the scenes on an administrative level can change people. That's why I said you might catch them at the most honest that they'll ever be when they are recently promoted. Have a yummy bear, Edward. This one is for Futuricity. Who else wants one? Not much, just living life as it is. I've been hit with... Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Edward. Sorry to hear that. I don't get along with management. But it's like, the thing that's so frustrating about me not getting along with management is it's not like I come into the company combative, or I'm rude to them, or I don't listen to instructions. Like, if it was that, I would just be like, I don't like management. I've heard people tell me like, oh, it's just that you got a problem with authority. I'm like, no, I don't have a problem with authority. I don't have issues with somebody being my supervisor, my team lead, or whatever you are. Like, actually my team leads pretty much seem to get along with me, but there's one person that doesn't really. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I have learned over just a number of years and insight and everything that there could be an environment where you step in the environment, and just based on how you walk, how you talk, how you carry yourself, how you do your work, how you complete your notes, how you interact with the higher ups, how how well you do the job, the people above you could be looking at you like, I need to knock this person down some pegs because they're coming from me. And I have never based anything that I have done on trying to take something from somebody else. I'll give you an example. One of my first jobs, or my very first job in the mental health field, not even one of them, my very first job in the mental health field was volunteering to lead peer specialist groups, or like to lead as a peer specialist, because I had just got my certification, and then lead, like mental health slash mentorship group. One group, not groups, one specific group. But they had somebody who was in the position at that time doing that group. But they needed a backup because he started to become unreliable. So I remember like a few times he no call, no showed, and they asked me to do the group. Now, the group members and the staff, well, the group members specifically were like, I like your group way better than his group. And then I remember the staff came and spoke to me. The program director actually came and spoke to me and says to me, Mark, I would like to replace that person with you. I want you to be the guy who runs that group permanently now. And I could have just taken that and ran with it, but I actually said, I don't want to take his group. It's his group. Like, he started the group. I don't want to take the group from him. If you can find another group for me to do that's not his group, then I'll run a different group. And they were like, no, we only have that need for that one group. This guy does not consistently show up on time, and we've had issues sometimes with the way he runs the group. So, I said no, and I just kept coming as a replacement. And then it got to a point where the director finally says to me, he's on a warning that I've given him that if he misses one more group, he's out. So she said, whether you take up that position or not, I want you to know he's out if he misses one more. No call, no show. And or has any behavioral problems in the group. So she said, you're not taking it, it's going to be taken from him. And if it's taken from him, will you be willing to do it? And still with hesitance, I said yes. So I say all that to say, in general, when I come into a place, I'm not someone who just sits around. Like, sometimes, a lot of times, management has a tendency to be like, I have this amount of experience and I have this amount of educational background, so that means that anything I tell you is the best and the only answer. And I'm like, I respect your background. I respect your experience, your educational experience, and your job experience. All of that, especially if they have greater amounts of knowledge from, their master's or whatever it is, doctorate, whatever it happens to be, and if they are in the field longer than me, which I'm starting to get to the point where a lot of my supervisors are not older than me. They're like younger than me. But anyways, I respect that. But that doesn't mean that you can't learn anything from me. Because, yeah, you might know the best way to write out the note, or you might know how certain things have happened in the past and what has worked in the past, but every field is evolving, and you don't know my background, my experience, my personal background, and like my multiple job experiences. There's a wealth of knowledge in there in terms of, I'll call it street smarts. Like, there's job book smarts and there's job street smarts. It's what is the best scenario of how to handle this based on the book that I read, versus I have been in this scenario in person X amount of times. And I have practical, real life experience in handling it. Okay. The manager is supportive and honest. One person is very supportive and honest with me, and but the thing is, that's all I need. So I'm grateful because sometimes I've been in spaces where I don't even have that person. I'm very, very grateful. Hi, Cass. Oh, so Marshall said that that was a bot thing. That said hi thing. Is that like a button that you press or something? Because I was here thinking that that was a bot comment that people make. I was watching a video on the history of the United States. I wonder if it was the real history. I only see my relatives 1 to 2 times a year. Yeah, and I only see 1 to 2 sets of relatives. I see my grandma definitely. I make sure to see her at least once a year. My aunt, two of my aunts, I typically see them, I guess. And my sister, who is 3.5 hours away from me. So that's really all I see outside of my immediate family. And by immediate family, I just mean my mom. There's only 2 of us left. But I don't go anywhere else. I just go to Toronto. That's it. I would like to. So this person, I missed whatever this is from. Cass is a history nerd like me. I like history, just not the history that I learned in school. I like the history that I learned after school was over and discovered that the math wasn't mathing in the history books. But if it's not, then I miss something. I miss something in between here. If it's not you, then they'll put someone else. So it might as well be you. Oh, you're talking about what I was saying about the other job. Okay, I'm behind on these comments. Yeah, I support people who support me back also. And you supported me a lot. Thank you. Yes, it is a train. Takes me back to when I lived in Danville. Been there, done that, never again. I'm always respectful. I came out of the womb questioning. I guess you just got good bosses because I have not. I had a string of bosses. I've had a string of terrible bosses to where before I got this job, I had just given up on getting a good boss. And then when my actual boss, when I had certain problems with this person, I was like, here we go again. But then that's the beauty of working in a small environment is that I can talk to other people to get my questions answered. It's an amazing thing. If you say hi when you enter, oh, okay. Good to know. So I won't be so hard on the trigger button. All right. I have reached my destination. And my phone has gotten super hot because it's like hot outside. So this is going to be off soon. People have more than 2 sets of relatives. Some of my friends have big family gatherings and stuff. I don't. Um, to give me a prompt. Oh, okay. You spending Mother's Day with anyone? Yes. My mother, fortunately. Nobody told Marshall I called him a dusty because he will cut off my hot pocket supply. Same, it's more fun now, though my AP history teacher is funny as hell. He's always behind when I'm on because I keep commenting. I took AP also. I'm spending time with my mom and grandma. I wish I could spend time with my grandma, but I'll call her. I mean, that's the second best thing that I can do. And I hope that June or July, depending on my schedule, that I can make a time to go see her because she's 90. I every day that she's here is a blessing. And I'm sad that I don't live close by her because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I was like 1 to 2 times a year. It's okay. We speak all the time. We speak every week. But when I call her and she's telling me she's not feeling well and she's got all these aches and pains and blood pressure problems and things like that, I'm like always worrying about her. No, I didn't ban them just for saying hi. Following up the hi, they asked me questions about fried chicken or Diddy, or gave me an insult about my sunglasses. Like, I never ban anyone just for saying hi, but I do look and see what their next 1 or 2 comments are going to be. And I have banned somebody on the second comment or the third comment if they didn't say anything meaningful. Yeah, I'm going to be off in a minute. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of these comments. I missed Marshall's comment, whatever he said. And it's so much harder to do this on the phone, so I just missed it, so I'm sorry, Marshall. I think I had bad bosses, but I've got a lot of patience. Mom, feed the animals, my extended family in North Carolina. Cherish these times with your moms and grandmas. Same with my grandpa. Sorry to hear that. My last living grandpa, my dad's father passed in 99. My mom's father passed in 2009. 10 years apart. My dad's father was 90. He was 3 days before his 91st birthday. And my mom's father was 87. So he was actually, what was he? That would make him, he was about 13 years younger. Yeah, because when my paternal grandfather passed, my maternal one was 74, and then he passed at 87. But they both lived long. 90 and 87 is long. Fried chicken and Diddy Party and Scooby snack. Yeah, I've gotten Scooby snacks. I've gotten Will you oil yourself up on camera? And my answer was for a super chat. The grandfathers specifically, yes. I mean, well, I guess on my mom's side, yeah, my grandmother and grandfather. My grandmother has now outlived the amount of years my grandfather was alive, 87 and 90. My grandmother on my dad's side was gone before I was born, so I never met her. So she did not live long. She was, I want to say, in her 50s or so. I want to say in her 50s, maybe 40s. So I never met her, but my dad's family, my dad's like siblings and stuff, stroke history, and a lot of them went early. There was one that lived into his 80s. Actually, there's one that is presently in his 80s. There's only two of them left out of eight. One is in his 80s, and I think one is in his 60s. No, he's got to be in his 70s because my dad was last. So I think he was the next after my dad. I think he's like probably mid 70s at this point. But the siblings have not lived long. I have both my grannies passed in 2022. My mom's dad is somewhere down south. My dad was 71 in 2023. So the brother is probably at least 2 years older than him, and is two more years after that. So I would estimate his age at like 75 or so. That's what I would guess. Yeah, sorry to hear that, guys. Anyways, I'm hopping off, y'all. This phone is burning a hole through my hand because it's so hot. Because the weather is so hot, I'm sweating, and I need to get in some AC. So, thanks for joining me. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Thank you all, and have a good night.